I just found out that due to the lapse of the ACA subsidies, my health insurance premium is going up 700% from $60 a month to $440 a month. That is half of my rent. That is 25% of my income. And I'm working in a field where I'm making well above minimum wage.
Hey girl, welcome to what the rest of us have been living with for years. Yeah, your insurance just went up 700%. That's brutal. Now let me gently welcome you to reality. Because not only do I pay for my own health insurance, which is insanely expensive and covers almost nothing, I also help pay for yours. Let's see what else she says.
So I called, of course, my local constitutional law expert, my father, who was the former general counsel for the FCC, who's argued in the Supreme Court about 30 times before he retired in 2008, and won a majority of his cases. He did his clerkship under Chief Justice Berger, et cetera, et cetera. And his advice is to show up. Call, email, annoy your representatives, especially if you're living under a Republican right now.
Fun fact about Obamacare, also known as the Affordable Care Act. It passed without a single Republican vote. Not one. So blaming Republicans for the structure of the ACA is confusing. They didn't design it, they didn't vote for it, they didn't pass it. And that doesn't mean the system works, because it doesn't. And everyone always says, oh, you talk about problems, but you never talk about solutions. I'm about to spoon feed you some. These are solutions that Charlie Kirk recommended that I'm also on board with. Number 1, allow insurance competition across state lines. Number 2, provide direct assistance for people with pre-existing conditions, instead of forcing everyone into the same bloated system. Number 3, make insurance portable. You shouldn't lose coverage just because you change jobs. Number 4, require real price transparency. Patients should know what something costs before treatment, not after and they get a surprise bill. Number 5, use tax credits so lower income families can buy private insurance instead of forcing everyone into one trapped government control model. So yeah, healthcare is broken, but yelling at the wrong people and ignoring basic economics isn't fixing it.
You've probably seen the scenario that is happening in the United States right now, and you understand that people are going through a difficult times, and everyone is kind of have something to say about the economy and how it's just draining everyone in the United States. That being said, now, we are seeing a lot of white people coming up and complaining about all these services that they used to get, but they are not getting. But at the same time, we are seeing one of the most peaceful times in the Black community. Black people are just staying silent. They're just being quiet. They're just maintaining peace where they are, right? And somehow this is making white people question themselves, like, what are they doing wrong that other group is not doing? That is Black people, because according to their perception, they believe that Black people should be at the forefront fighting for all these services, but Black people are not doing this. Black people are not fighting for nobody. Black people are just tired and they're remaining silent. They're not getting into all this. Now, you need to understand that the perception, let me get my pen, that the perception that white Americans are panicking while Black people appear to be less visibly alarmed by all this rising cost of standard is because of historical positioning and adaptive experience, not indifference or superiority. No. Black Americans have lived for generations under conditions of economic precarity, high rent burdens, wage suppression, unstable employment, and limited access to generational wealth. And as a result, economic instability is not a sudden shock, but a familiar terrain. What looks like a calm is often the product of long-developed survival strategies rather than comfort with hardship. So now I hope you understand how this concept works, right? So I want to show this video. You're going to see it for yourself, and then I'll be back. I'll be giving my thoughts in regards to this. So keep watching the video. I'll be back.
So last time I was up here, we was talking about how everybody thought Black American people didn't know what we was doing when we wasn't protesting and coming outside. But we literally are key players in this fucking game. Now that folk are starting to see that there's a reason why Black Americans kept refusing to protest, right? Because we know these people better than they know themselves. We keep telling everybody that, but everybody don't believe us, okay? We know these people better than they know themselves. We keep telling everybody that the playbook is in Black American history. That's the reason why they refuse to teach it to y'all, okay? Because if they were to teach y'all Black American history, they would literally teach y'all the ins and outs of white supremacy. Tactics, manipulation, psychological shit, and all the stuff that leads up to the major things that they do. So, let's hone in on a particular part of Black American history, right? We're going to hone in on the fact that of what ended the Reconstruction era and the various different massacres and even the lynchings, right? The dark stuff that happened. consistently what was a precursor to them YT clear folk, the clear showing their goddamn ass was black people doing well. That's the precursor. Black people doing well and black people minding their business, right? That's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is YT people not doing well. Okay? The Reconstruction era literally almost shifted the American economy to black Americans being in the driver's seat of black economics, right? Of equity, right? It was a huge wealth transfer that was getting ready to take place because after emancipation, right? Black people knew how to do all the jobs. Okay? YT folk did not have the skills to compete or do any of the jobs. So, and then black people were buying up land, like plots of land, buying up a lot of plantation owners were selling land to stay afloat and stuff like that, and black people was buying it. Okay? And so this is what gave rise to those really big black towns that we talk about, very wealthy black towns that we talk about, Black Wall Street, et cetera, et cetera. That's what popped all of that off. So massacres really were about, one, kicking black people back into a place of like poverty, and two, stealing our shit. Okay? Stealing our shit. Taking our houses, taking our land, taking our businesses. They would literally terrorize the black people into leaving and then move their asses into business and then run the business or change the business into whatever they wanted to change it into because they were not doing well. Okay? If you track it, the Great Depression era, in that time period, whole bunch of terrorizing of black towns took place. Why? Because YT people were poor. It didn't really bother black people to be poor because black people already knew how to get by with really next to nothing. Okay? We gonna make something shake regardless, right? And we also still had wealthy, sustainable towns because our money wasn't actually in the stock market. We don't ever actually put our money in the stock market like that. So the crash really didn't affect us to the way that it affected everybody else. Outside of the super, super rural areas, black people really struggled in the super, super rural, remote areas. So let's fast forward into today and why black people knew that these people were going to be trying to come into the white man fight back, because they are literally coded to believe that every problem they have, black people are the cause of it. Okay? Every problem they have, anything that go wrong in their life, it's a black person's fault. Okay? Black people are literally their get out of accountability card. Black people are their get out of failure card. Black people are their get out of success card. Lack of success card. Okay? Anytime things do not go the way that they think that it should, the privilege ain't privileging and the supremacy ain't supremacy, they are looking for a way to make black people the problem. Okay? Black people and we know because black people was on the other side of fucking town. We talking about people who get in a fight with their white wife, okay, over their white marriage issues, and then go into a black neighborhood and try to kidnap a black woman or kidnap a black man for something. Even if you go into like the lynchings that occurred, my wife said that the black man was looking at me. No, his wife was literally fucking another white man. And they didn't want to sit up there and deal with that issue. So they went and put it on a black man and terrorized the black neighborhood. Okay? Black people have been the scapegoat for white people issues for hundreds of years. This is like epigenetic coded in them. Okay? They don't know how to cope with problems that are created by them. Okay? They don't know how to cope with the shit that they actually fucking cause. Okay? And the fact that black people are refusing to come outside, black people are not giving them an out. That is why we held off. And that's why we chilling. Because we ain't giving them no easy outs. And it is frustrating the fuck out of them. Okay? It is frustrating the fuck out of them. Okay? So they're going to go around and they're going to terrorize like the leftists. Okay? They're going to terrorize the libs. But they can't get at who they really want to get at, which is black American people, because black American people ain't playing ball the way that they want us to, because we studied history. Everybody else didn't. We know our history. We know how these people give it up. Okay? So, y'all continue staying on the chessboard. Black people, we up, though. We up. And we just watching the things happen. Because when it's time for us to come out, when it's time for us to come outside, baby, they gonna wish we had gone in the house.
That's what I'm saying. We are mobilizing right now. This is the first time in American history where we don't give a damn about nobody else but us.
When you say mobilize, what do you mean?
We're mobilizing, we're worried about ourselves. And this is the first time in history where we're not focused on other groups.
Black people want to be left alone. They don't want revenge. They don't want to replace us, as some extremist groups have said. They just want to live life in peace, the way they want to live. They want family, they want love, and they want to live in a society where they know they belong here. They want society to also know that they belong here. They want to walk out their door and not worry that they're going to be treated unfairly, or they're going to get that look like they're not welcome, or that someone's going to try to touch their hair like a zoo animal. Yes, they want they want white people to fix white problems of prejudice and ignorance and all the ways that a wrongful sense of superiority is baked into our society. Yes, they want that to change. Yes, they want acknowledgement for harms done. They don't want us to just explain things away or justify or gloss over things without really listening. But more than anything, they want to be themselves, fully express who they are, love who they are, be with their family, and live in peace. That's it. Black people want to be left alone.
I'm going to tell you like my grandma told me. It's because we like ourselves. It's because we like ourselves. They cannot do anything to us to take away our joy. They can't do anything to us to take away our confidence. They can't do anything to us that makes us feel like we're not going to make it through. We know we're going to make it through because our ancestors did. Anything that you could do to a group of people have been done to us. And because we know that, because we know our ancestors survived much worse, we know that we can. They sang during the worst of times, so we can sing now. They laughed during that, we can laugh now.
Black people are still resting, and they're going to be resting for quite some time, okay? Because I don't think y'all understand the severity. Like, I think that there's some people out here that think that Black people are playing and that we'll eventually get over this and we'll get back to work. No. We will get back to work in our community. Black Americans will be okay because we put in the work. It's the rest of the people of color groups that have not put in the work because they came to this country with rights that Black Americans fought and bled and died for. So when Black people say that we are resting, that is what we mean. It is not just this election. It is not just this. It is a culmination of so many disappointments from our existence on this stolen land. Okay? Because let's be clear. America is a stolen land built by stolen people. At the end of the day, that is what America is. Black Americans decided that they wanted to make something out of nothing. And that is what we have done for hundreds of years. And have literally laid a table together for everybody to be equitable. Okay? Equitable. All we want is equity, not revenge, not a leg up in the world, but equity across the board. And because America said that that's not what she wants, everybody is going to have to reap what they sow. Black people have been sowing seeds of equity, civil rights movements, voting rights movements. We have been sowing good seeds. So over the next 4 to 8 or however many years, Black Americans are going to be okay. It's all the other groups that we were worried about. But y'all let us know y'all not worried about yourselves, so we can't.
Can we talk? It's been a while. I know. But Black women, we're still resting. Yep. Black people as a whole, we are tightening up our ship. Black people as a whole, we are building community amongst each other. Everything else around us is just a distraction at this point because we warned, we shared information, infographics, data, and statistics of what might happen. And clearly, people did not believe that fat meat is greasy. And that video that I just shared was a couple of days after the election, after I had gotten all the tears out, after I had cried it out, after I had prayed it out, all the things. And I said, this was different because the levee of trust broke all the way, right? Black people have lived in a certain, Black Americans, the descendants of the enslaved, have lived on this stolen land for quite some time, and we understand patterns. We understand when the shift in the atmosphere changes, and we move accordingly. And what we're seeing is we have conditioned ourselves to do that. We have conditioned ourselves to pivot when the temperature changes. And a lot of people now are seeing the temperature change, not just feel it, but see it in real time, and they don't know how to react, and they don't know how to deal. So anybody that is getting on this app trying to tell Black women to do anything, trying to tell the 80% of Black American men to do anything right now other than do what we've been doing the past 10, 11, almost 12 months, you're part of the problem, not the solution. I hate to say it, but some of us ain't gonna make it because we too busy trying to argue with stupid. We too busy trying to argue with stupid. And I just refuse. This is your friendly reminder. We know how we got here. Our rest is important. How we mobilize look different. A lot of the revolution will not be televised. And that's why a lot of folks is mad, because they don't know what we doing and it scares them. Okay? So while you all are building out your community, while you are tightening up the ship, whether you all are saving more money, because when I tell you, I get annoyed when I have to spend any amount of money because I have gotten so I work hard for my money, and I'm not just about to give it to anybody or anything, because it's apparent y'all don't care about my money. Y'all care about my money, but y'all don't care about me, and that's a problem. You know, it's some places I don't go no more. It's some people I don't see anymore, because at the end of the day, we have got to guard our gates. We have got to guard our peace. We have got to guard our energy, because the more chaos ensues, the more dangerous people get. The more, people do stuff because they just can't pinpoint what Negroes is doing, and they mad about it. So at the end of the day, make sure that you are moisturizing. SPF is necessary for us. Drink your 6 to 8 glasses of water or more. Make sure that you are getting in the gym. As I talk to you, I'm talking to myself, because we in for a long ride, but it is nothing that our ancestors have not done that we cannot do again and better, to make sure that when we come on the other side of this, we don't have to, this can literally just be a lesson. But this is a hard lesson because now everybody is learning it, because y'all just didn't want to believe Black people who have been oppressed in this land for quite some time. Yep, slavery is ended, but systemic racism is everywhere. And now y'all are figuring out that racism, classism, otherism is all on the same boat now. So, y'all be well.
Has anybody else started to reach their breaking point or a boiling point? So this is starting to look like a country that I am no longer proud to have served. I've been working my entire adult life, and I have paid half or more than half back to the government in some way, shape, or form in taxes for the past 30 years. And if you don't believe me, look up everything that you have that is taxed. State income tax, federal income tax, property taxes, payroll taxes, Medicare taxes, Medicaid taxes, sales taxes. Everything is taxed. Everything. And we have a political apparatus where half of them say that if you don't keep us in power, we will steal from you so that we can import people that will. So shut up and go back to work. And another side of the aisle that is either in on it or is totally complete chicken shit and won't do anything about it and won't even try to actually represent the people that vote for them. Is anybody else getting to a point where we feel like we cannot vote our way out of this? Where does that leave us? Because nothing is going to happen about the fraud. Nothing. All of the fraud that Elon Musk and Doge exposed, the Republican Congress put it on the back burner and refused to fucking vote on it. Turned around to the American voter that put them in power and extended one of these. It doesn't matter what we do. This situation is completely freaking unsustainable. Totally and completely unsustainable. It's a waste of time to vote, and it's a waste of energy to pay taxes so that we can give it to people that are going to steal from us. And then we can send it to other countries that hate us. And we can send it to people in the European Union that look down their nose at the American worker and say, good little bitch, go back to work. It's putting us in a helpless situation, and I don't think the people in Washington living in that bubble realize the anger that is fuming outside of the borders of that city. And I am not interested in watching another fucking theatrical congressional hearing where a couple of ballsy Republicans bitch out a fucking corrupt leftist and then nothing happens. Accountability and a fucking tax strike is what needs to happen.
I think there are two reasons why people don't like Black Americans. The first reason is very obvious to me, and it's because Black Americans call shit out. If you're a culture vulture, if you disrespect them, if you steal from the culture and try to reinvent it as your own, they will call you the fuck out. If you are a non-white person that's letting white people walk all over you and be racist towards you, they will call it out. But y'all don't like a mirror being held to you. You don't like accountability, and you don't think Black Americans have any right to check you. The second reason is because the parasite class has made it their mission to demonize them because they have been the ones fighting white supremacy, the thing that they need to be wealthy since they got here. And now look, fascism is winning right now. It's all over America. You're being attacked by your own military, but Black Americans chose to sit down and y'all are clutching your pearls because you don't know what to do.
This question is for Black people only.
Don't ask us shit. Don't ask us nothing. Just leave us alone.
So brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are doing great. You need to understand that for many white Americans, especially those socialized into expectations of stability, affordability, and upward mobility, the rapid increase in housing, food, healthcare, and energy costs represents a rupture of assumed normalcy. The post-war social contract promised that work would lead to security and that system will protect those who followed the rules. As inflation, debt, and job insecurity undermine this promise, panic emerges. And when panic emerges, not simply because of costs are rising, but because the future no longer feels guaranteed. The anxiety reflects the collapse of expectation more than the material change itself. You also need to understand that Black Americans, by contrast, have historically operated without strong expectation of systemic protection. High living costs, overcrowding, multiple jobs, and shared housing, informal economies, and community-based support networks have long been part of their everyday life. This does not mean Black people are unaffected. It means that they are less surprised when costs rise. Many already know how to adjust by pooling resources, prioritizing essentials, or relying on extended family and community ties. The response is pragmatic rather than a panicked one. So another important part or another important factor that we need to also scale in is psychological conditioning. Yes, repeated exposure to economic stress builds a different relationship to uncertainty. Understand that Black communities have long learned that systems can fail. Right? They've learned that systems can fail without warning, and that resilience often comes from flexibility rather than trust in institutions. White panic, in this sense, is not only about money, but about identity. Being forced to confront vulnerability in a society that once promised insulation from it. Black Americans, having long known vulnerability, are less shaken by its visibility, right? So there is also media narrative and dimension. So mainstream economic disclosure has historically centered white middle class distress as a national emergency, while black economic struggle was normalized or ignored. When rising costs now affect white households at scale, seeing familiar patterns finally acknowledged, many respond with skepticism rather than alarm. The lack of visible panic can be misread as apathy when it is often a clear-eyed realism, right? So, additionally, Black Americans often interpret economic downturns structurally rather than personally, because inequality has always been apparent. Rising costs are seen as part of larger system of extraction and imbalance rather than sudden failure of individual effort. This perspective reduces panic but increases critique. White frustration or panic can rise when these structural readings challenges narratives of meritocracy or fairness that once provided emotional reassurance. You need to understand that. And so ultimately, the contrast reveals less about who is bothered and more about who was promised what, right? Panic emerges when expectations collapse. Composure emerges when expectations were already low or realistic. Black Americans did expect nothing from the system because it is a system that has been working against them, so they expect nothing from it. And that's why you're seeing all this calmness. They have mastered calmness. They have mastered, how to stay stoic even when things are crumbling or even things are going the negative side. So Black Americans are not untouched by rising costs. They are navigating. They're navigating them with. They are navigating them with strategies shaped by history. White Americans' panic reflects the painful realization that the economic machine does not selectively protect those who once believed it was built for them. So, brothers and sisters, please let me know what you feel and think about this video. I'm hoping to see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.